our guy Big King actually had a hot take the other day. Said that drafting Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round was probably the most egregious pick of the entire 2025 NFL draft, and adds that the time to go to Shedeur Sanders is right now. Play the video, please.
Maybe the most egregious pick in all of the 2025 draft was the Browns taking Dillon Gabriel in the.
Smitty, I'm actually pissed off now.
Why?
Because I don't. So he want to come in talking. He's talking shit. I got something to get on my chest now.
Okay, go ahead.
He's basically a third-party host on this show.
Right.
And he started doing this show, let's just say ironically, from a cigar lounge in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And then the backdrop of that Vegas locker area is the same one that I'm seeing right now on this clip.
Yeah.
But he known for me on this show with that backdrop. You got to do that show, homie, somewhere else. That ain't the backdrop on that show, homie. I don't know these are nobodies to me. You need to go do back home doing it in your kitchen,
in the car at Starbucks line.
Yeah, or the garage with the TV off. Not this drop, homie. This is for our show.
That's true.
Hey, I can fix it right quick. Hey, listen, if y'all fuck with Big King and you a real one, man, hit that like button. Go and click on that subscribe button, dog. Get these numbers up so that JB can start paying me to be on the show, and then I can afford to get a professional-looking background.
Play the rest, baby. Play the rest, man.
When you volunteering for your homeboy, man, you know you're limited from a budgetary standpoint. 3rd round. There's no way you can evaluate the quarterback position and have him rated as a higher prospect than Shedeur Sanders. There's no way that you can be an astute quarterback evaluator and think he was worthy of an asset as valuable as a 3rd round pick. We got to get to the root of the problem here. I mean, that was an egregious draft pick, and to die on the vine is very disappointing. That was a terrible draft pick. Now, don't accelerate the mistake by continuing down the path that you never should have went down in the first place. It's time to go to Shedeur Sanders simply because he was a better prospect coming out of college than Dillon Gabriel. No lies told. No lies told. No lies told.
I think all that was a lie.
Nah, everything he says is a fact. It's like everybody's forgetting, like what Shaun just said so eloquently. I don't know why. Like, that's why I mean, JB, we argue. You keep saying he was 5th round. Shedeur was 5th round. I know what he ended up being, but this was not. He was not that rated that low. He wasn't. I don't know what.
Hold on, Smitty. Hold on, Smitty. I got to get this on record.
Yes.
I actually think JB, like 80% of the time, knows what he's talking about when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks.
Me too.
You telling me you had Dillon Gabriel rated as a better NFL prospect than Shedeur Sanders coming into the draft?
Can we just talk facts first?
No. I want you to answer that one particular question before you add on and put spice on it and a different kind of filling in your donut. You had Dillon Gabriel rated as a better prospect coming into the draft than Shedeur Sanders?
He was a better college player.
Okay, you ain't answering the question.
Well, I didn't personally grade him. I'm not on the network to grade him. So, no, I didn't even grade those two guys. I didn't grade any quarterback. I just tell my eyes work, though.
Man.
And hold on. Dillon Gabriel has NCAA records. Shedeur Sanders does not. He has Colorado records. There's a huge difference. So, obviously, I haven't seen one GM tell me different. What GM, Shaun, can you tell me came out and had Shedeur graded higher?
So because the GM now.
Hold on, Smitty. Don't mention Mina Kimes. Don't do it. Don't mention Mel Kiper. We're talking about GMs, brass, coaches, guys that really wanted the guy to play for their organization, not media members. Let's be clear here. Tell me a GM or a coach who had him higher. Go, I'll wait.
So you tell me a GM right now in the National Football League that you think is a better evaluator of talent at quarterback than me. We're talking about in a league that drafted Zach Wilson and Trey Lance in the top 3. Drafted Kenny Pickett as a first-round pick.
No, don't say league. Don't say league. Say your guy Lynch.
No, Zach Wilson.
Say your guy Shanahan drafted him. But Shanahan drafted that guy.
They are historically terrible at evaluating quarterback, and I still don't.
I agree. I'm with you.
There's not one NFL GM they can go back and show me his draft board that will stand on business and say I had Dillon Gabriel as a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders. I don't give a damn what you think about Shedeur. I'm not a huge fan of how he handles his business. Like, so this is coming from me. This ain't no prime sexual. This ain't no Shedeur fan. This is somebody who's been as honest and critical of Shedeur as anybody in sports media. But that does not take away from the fact that Dillon Gabriel was not a high caliber draft prospect at the quarterback position as you project to the NFL. And Cleveland taking him in the 3rd round, they could have added Cam Scottaboo and had a backfield with Quinshon Judkins and Cam Scottaboo. And you're asking me, oh, they already drafted a running back. They drafted Dylan Sampson in the next round anyway.
I think we know that the organization's horrible and what they do in the draft. That's a moot point.
That show is called the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. That's a sports show in Cleveland. We were talking specifically about the Cleveland Browns organization. I pulled up a clip from February 7th of my Dillon Gabriel draft analysis, and I said, just like you did, really good college quarterback. To me, the skill set doesn't project. Undersized guy, reminds me of a Tua type ceiling, which I think is very low. And it had the data when I said it, because I like to be right when I make my evaluations, because I'm talking about real human beings. I don't get emotional when I evaluate players. I go based on my evaluation and the honest opinion I have, whether I like or dislike who I'm talking about. And there's nobody that knows what the fuck they looking at that can tell me Dillon Gabriel was a better NFL prospect than Shedeur Sanders. I don't care where they were drafted.
And JB knows that.
I don't know it. Shedeur threw a better deep ball, and I said that. There's really
not one thing that Dillon does better than Shedeur.
There is actually. And after watching him in the preseason,
maybe cook some Hawaiian bread. You know the little Hawaiian bread they sell in the grocery store.
Maybe the rolls. Yeah, I love him.
Make some better rolls or something, but that's it.
What Shedeur have? Better jewelry. So listen, let me break down this thing. Let me break down this thing real quick. So if we're talking quarterback play, which you and I respect each other's quarterback evaluation, we're very similar. So we talk about throwing the ball on time, in rhythm, accurately, post-snap versus pre-snap recognition, all those things. Dillon Gabriel at least stays in the pocket and gets rid of the ball. The success that Shedeur had in the preseason, everybody out there that knows nothing about football anointed him as being better in the preseason because he made ad-lib outside the pocket plays that resulted in touchdowns. Let's keep it real. And all the time watching that film is if Shedeur stayed in the pocket through the ball, he didn't have to do all that shit. And then Gabriel gets in the real game and does it on time, which he does better than Shedeur. So that's what you just said is not right because Gabriel does do better things than Shedeur. And then on the other side is Shedeur throws a better deep ball. That's the only thing he does better, in my opinion.
He's a better athlete.
Doesn't mean he's not a better athlete.
Yes, he is. He's not a better athlete than Dillon Gabriel.
He's not a better athlete.
Yes, you act like
is. Hold on. See, we get this. We got a negative connotation out here.
I played Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel was at UCF when I was at USF.
Hold on, though.
I've seen him live.
No. But we have a. Not you, but we out here think that because Shedeur Sanders has the name Sanders, that he was a guy like.
No.
Time out. He's supposed to be like
athlete, but he's a better athlete.
We think he's Lamar Jackson. He's not a guy. He's more
Mahomes. He's more Mahomes than anything.
He's more Mahomes. Tua. He's more
athlete. No. He's way better athlete than Tua.
Okay, but he's not some guy like we're acting like we can run triple option with.
Don't put that on my name. Don't put it on my name. I said
I'm just saying he's not an athlete. To even mention athlete. So basically what you're proving is that he should stay his ass in the pocket, correct?
No. Don't add to what I said. Don't take away from it.
Shaun, be real.
Shedeur Sanders is a better
You're saying Shedeur should be a move guy?
No, I say he's a better prospect than Dillon Gabriel. That's what I said.
I don't agree.
Don't add to it. Don't take away from it.
I don't agree.
Has a clutch gene. He's tough. Better deep ball. Better athlete.
Don't get specific, Smitty. He's a better prospect than Dillon Gabriel. Point blank. Period.
JB knows it. I swear. Oh my God, he pissed me off because like JB be bullshitting. He don't like the way Shedeur play, which is fine. That's cool. But to go here and act like you just thought Dillon Gabriel was better. It's just a lie, bro. You at some point it's like, all right, bro, now you're going too far. Like, hey, what you gonna say next? Tyler Shook? You had Tyler Shook's a better prospect too? At some point, you got to like.
But you can make an argument based on Shook's last year at Louisville with a quarterback guy in Jeff Brom that you could say he projected to potentially be better than Shedeur if they both reach their ceiling based on the information we had. None of that argument applies or applicable to Dillon Gabriel.
Well, it does because he's way more experienced, played way more games.
No, he's not. Shedeur played forever at Jackson State, forever at Colorado. He's just like Dillon.
Hold on.
Was 30.
Dillon's played more games in college history.
I know that, but you acting like Shedeur was a one-year guy. He had plenty of reps in college.
So if I break down brass tacks, we got a guy that gets drafted in the 5th round who never has played for any other person other than his father. Ever. Ever. No. We're going to break down this whole value. If you and I are GMs and we're evaluating it, you and I are evaluating everything from elementary school on, aren't we? Hey, just like you and I got evaluated.
I love you like a brother. If we was in the same organization and you got in front of the owner and said Dillon Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders, I would get up and walk out the fucking room.
But here's the reason why you can't do that. You took both of them.
Because you wouldn't do that.
Both of them as an organization, Shaun, makes no sense at all.
I understand.
You took both of them.
I know that. And so for full context, what I said before the season was that using Joe Flacco was a waste of time because the supporting cast in Cleveland is not good enough to overcome Flacco's deficiencies. Flacco can go to Cincinnati where you got Chase, Higgins, Chase Brown, and maybe win some games for them. But in Cleveland, you don't have that, right? I said giving Kenny Pickett reps after you drafted Gabriel and Shedeur was fool's gold. I said what they should have did was told a team first, then the quarterbacks, then the media, we're going to alternate starts all year. No matter how, if Dillon plays great or Shedeur plays great, because all this year is about is finding out, do we have a franchise quarterback in the building? I said that would have been the only way that this would have made sense. They decided not to do that. So now we got to address the monkey in the room. The incompetence of taking Dillon Gabriel in the 3rd round was egregious. The incompetence of continuing to play Dillon Gabriel when you know in your heart of hearts he's not a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders is even more egregious.
So hold on. So let me. You played in this league, and you played in this under whether it's politics involved, whether it's good old boy ownership, whether it's whatever. You're going to sit up here and tell me that Stefanski, to Smitty's point, is 2-time coach of the year. Is he now playing a political game not to play Shedeur? That's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
So let me ask another question.
I'm saying I think Stefanski, who I don't think is a great evaluator or developer of quarterbacks, even though I think he's a good.
But it's on record he didn't want to take both quarterbacks.
I know, and he's trying to die on the vine of saying in the 3rd round that Dillon Gabriel's my guy.
But also, don't you? So you're going to sit up here and discredit his evaluation in practice every day? Obviously, if there was a huge
absolutely.
What? So you're saying Shedeur? So you're saying on our show that Shedeur's out here ripping it, and he's just not putting them in.
I am not saying that. I'm saying when you look at the resume of Kevin Stefanski, who's supposed to be an offensive guy, who should be the caretaker of the quarterback position in Cleveland, what has he done in the last decade as far as managing that position that will give him any credibility as far as what decisions he's making in 2025?
See, to me, it sounds like
he got rid of Baker Mayfield. He gave Deshaun Watson $250 guaranteed. Deshaun looked like anything close to the quarterback we saw in Houston.
Well, I keep asking the same
Baker
question.
Baker looks like an MVP candidate.
But if he is better, to your point, though, and everyone's point out there, and it's not just the prime, it's not just the prime sexuality take. If it's not that for the casual fan out here, then why isn't he beating out Dillon Gabriel? Why do we keep going around and around and around? If he's better, Stefanski, you just said, would play him. He's not playing him. Something's going on in practice. Something's going on in practice where I don't like what I see at practice. That's got to be happening.
You be trying to add to. You be trying to paint outside the lines. I said I don't trust Stefanski at all, and you come back and say I just said Stefanski would be playing him if he was practicing better. I don't know what the practice tape looked like for any of them. I haven't
So
seen.
obviously something's going on.
I said coming into the draft, Shedeur was a better prospect than Gabriel.
But I'm saying, why isn't he starting now then?
Draft position.
Why'd they get rid of Baker Mayfield? Why couldn't they manage?
It's just going to keep moving. It's just going to keep moving around.
Why Deshaun Watson didn't look anything like the Houston Texans version of Deshaun Watson?
I'm not sold. I think MVPs and Coach of the Year are all popularity contests. I've been saying that. What you trying to down the hill now? No. What I'm not going to say is though that having guys that have played for Stefanski tell me that he's out here just trying to fuck someone over. He ain't that guy either. So he's going to play the best guy. So he's not sitting out here just saying, all right, Shedeur's balling like a motherfucker. We're just going to keep him out. Like, that's what y'all sound like. This is the NFL. This guy ain't going to just fucking not play the guy if he's better.
I don't know. I'm not advocating or agreeing with what you're saying.
There's no way that this guy's just going to sit here and not play him if he's playing better. Oh, fuck. It's when Smitty leaves, I'm telling you. For whatever reason, I don't know why, but
every time Smitty's T-Mobile Cricket, whatever he got, goes out, my sound goes out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Shaun, you gotta understand that when you first hopped in today, there was no refreshing or anything, and your sound still didn't work. So I don't know if it's my fault.
I wasn't blaming you. I was saying from a technical standpoint, stop being sensitive.
No, I wouldn't blame you either. I was just breaking down that it happened today, even before the refresh.
I just don't understand the take that Stefanski. So why doesn't Stefanski just walk in and resign then? Y'all saying he's just basically trying to fire himself. He don't want to play the kid because he's better than him. But I'm just going to say, nah, you're better than him, but I'm not playing you.
That's very simple. If you resign, you forfeit all the money left on your contract.
Come on, man. We're making this a conspiracy. We're making this a conspiracy. Like, this is the same guy that took Deshaun Watson and paid him astronomical money. So now it's a conspiracy. He did that, but now he doesn't like Shedeur.
Let me ask you a question, JB. What do all young quarterbacks need in the offseason? What do they all need, no matter how talented they can be, to get a level of familiarity with the system they're going to be running? What do they need?
The first thing, continuity with the play caller.
Reps, right?
Yeah, continuity with the play caller, though, has to happen first. Look at Daniel Jones and your boy in Indy. Go ahead.
Watch how dysfunctional this is. And a lot of the reason that Daniel Jones, I think, looks like he looks is because Anthony Richardson was hurt for portions of the offseason. So Daniel was getting even more reps. It wasn't like he was the 2. He was the 1 for almost the entire offseason. Back to the Browns. Think about how many reps they gave Joe Flacco this offseason with the ones. And then you turn around and trade Joe Flacco within the first 4 weeks of the season. Think about how dysfunctional y'all have to be.
I'm with you.
Think about all those reps that Dillon and Shedeur could have got that Flacco took this offseason for y'all to decide in the first 4 weeks of the damn season, we're going to trade Joe Flacco for a 5th-round pick? That's dysfunction at its highest level.
I'm with you. That has nothing to do with what we're discussing, though. We also know you can argue to your point. You can make your point even look better. Flacco's balling right now at an MVP rate. So I'm with you. I don't believe in Stefanski and Cleveland organization.
What I was attacking was you can't be an astute evaluator of quarterback and think Dillon was a better prospect than Shedeur leading into that draft.
But how much?
So the draft Dillon in the third, take Shedeur out of it. Let's say Shedeur Sanders wasn't in the draft. There's no way you can have a 3rd-round draft grade on Dillon Gabriel. Not if you got any idea what the hell you're looking at.
But here's the thing. The draft obviously has come out. We saw the draft prior and after Dillon Gabriel's picks. They tried to get Jackson Dart. They know he couldn't get him. He went too early. So they did, in fairness, go after another quarterback because they knew Deshaun Watson was out this year, correct? So if I knew that, they had to take a quarterback.
You had traded for Kenny Pickett.
I know
his rookie deal.
Yeah, but Shaun, you've dove into the GM world in this thing. You and Weddle both know this. You got to take a quarterback in the draft still. You're not going to take Kenny Pickett and Flacco and have an old ass crew there.
Not in the 3rd round, JB.
I agree. I'm with you on that. But I'm saying you're going to take a draft pick though, not just depending on Pickett and Flacco. it was obvious that they were going to use a couple of those guys, if not, well, which they did, but at least one for draft capital. They were going to trade Pickett at some point.
I'm just a little different, dog. When I go to the bar, I want the baddest thing in there. If I don't get here, I'm willing to go home by myself. I'm very rarely going to settle for a 5.
But there was no baddest guy. We already said this draft was horrible.
Well, then I don't take one. I get better around him. I get better at all the other
But
positions.
now, if you didn't take one, hindsight 2020, you didn't take a guy. You've already signed 9. Shaun, they signed 9 quarterbacks this year alone. Like, come on, man. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Nothing's adding up. Nothing. And it surely ain't saying that I'm just playing it. I'm not playing this guy.
If I go and call the Philadelphia Eagles and ask them, will they trade me Kenny Pickett? The only reason on God's green earth I would do something like that as a sitting GM of an NFL organization that does not have a starting quarterback because Deshaun Watson obviously is out with injury would be that I think Kenny Pickett can be my Sam Darnold, my Baker Mayfield, like one of these guys that has failed a couple of times and has figured it out, and I think he can come be our franchise quarterback. Otherwise, why on God's green earth would I ever go trade for Kenny Pickett?
Here's why.
That starts a dysfunction.
Let's just break this down. Like,
shit, Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel, they might all be the same age.
Let's just break this down. If there's some things that we don't know, like this. If the organization has a basically strong hold on them with a guy named Deshaun Watson and the dollar amount that they have to pay him, isn't it very, very either obvious or likely that they had to eat this year regardless because this guy's not even playing? They can't get rid of the contract. They've tried to do multiple things multiple times. The kid is still here. Deshaun Watson is still their quarterback, Smitty. At the end of the day, we could talk all this shit you want. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes about the dollars that they have to pay this other dude. That's why they had 9 quarterbacks come through there. Well, so, why are we acting as if we are inside there and know what's going on? We don't.
They created that problem, so they got to deal with it. Let me speak.
I hear you, but it goes back to the Shedeur not playing thing.
Let me speak to Mr. Haslam for a second. Deshaun Watson is washed.
I've been saying that, but at the end of the day, Smitty doesn't wash the books. It doesn't wash the books, Smitty.
The book's still dirty, huh?
Yeah.
At one time, he was an elite caliber prospect at quarterback. That's gone.
But when all that shit came out,
he's gonna come.
There's only one Ohtani.
He's gonna come back from a lower body injury, a severe one, when his greatest asset was his athleticism. He's never been a pocket quarterback, not even at Clemson, never at Houston Texans. He's not gonna come back and become one. Newsflash to the rest of the NFL: Russell Wilson is washed. Like, I still don't understand why Pittsburgh went away from Justin Fields last year when Wilson got healthy. Their ceiling was higher with Fields than it was with Wilson. Then the Giants, for some unknown reason, maybe people just want to be around Sierra. They went and gave us a Baker Mayfield type contract. And I don't like, sometimes I don't know what these people are looking at when it comes to evaluating quarterback. Not to jump on Russ, but what in the hell did Russ do second half of the year for the Steelers that made the Giants think we're going to give him like bridge starting quarterback money? Like, what are they doing?
Well, you know why? Because at the end of the day, like,
desperate.
You're in the good old boy. You're done. You're tenured. You're tenure track, as a teacher would say. You're basically going to get your severance for life. You're in the league. You've been there. So am I going to go dabble with a new booty that I don't know, or am I and then still have to pay Russell his money regardless? He's getting paid from Denver still. Like, let's be honest. So why not use him? If I'm going to use the guy. That's what they do. You know that.
That's not applicable to the Giants. The Giants gave Russ new money.
They did. They probably looked at the first half of the Steelers season and put their brain focusing on that. You know, they start off pretty strong, and they say, "Hey,
they were rolling with Fields." Not saying that Fields is like some elite current quarterback, but he's a better quarterback in 2025 for a team than Russ.
You think so? We forget Russ did throw over 400 yards though before he got benched. Like, quiet.
But let's just be honest though. Dayball took a quarterback though. Like I'm just saying, we're still taking quarterbacks. But I'm saying these guys are still taking quarterbacks in the draft is my point of this whole thing with Cleveland. They still were going to take a college kid. It doesn't matter if they had all these other guys. So, like, at the end of the day, all these guys are taking guys. They're going to take a quarterback if they don't have a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson or a guy that's their foundation.
I still think Cleveland should have stayed pat and drafted the rush in from Penn State and put him opposite Myles Garrett. People aren't even talking about the fact they traded down and took Mason Taylor from Michigan, who I'm not saying.
Yeah, but we can't knock the Giants draft. They had a hell of a draft.
No, I'm talking about the Browns.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Mason Graham.
Mason Graham. I'm gonna send Bailey my pre-draft evaluation of Jackson Dart. I compared Jackson Dart to a Baker Mayfield comp. He's got the same kind of moxie, the same kind of game. That looks completely 100% accurate, doesn't it?
JB didn't like him, yeah. He didn't
Jackson
like
Dart, I said, I had a late first round, early second round grade on Jackson Dart. I said his NFL comp to me was the current version of Baker Mayfield.
There it is.